Okay, today we're going to learn basic piano techniques. And the purpose of these are to learn how to have more power, learn how to have more control, and learn to relax while we're playing. And ultimately, you can advance at a greater rate, and you'll be able to produce richer sound as you play. So first I want to give you an example of what richer sound actually sounds like. So I'm going to show you a video, and the pianist plays Fur-Elise twice. The first time the pianist plays, she doesn't use good technique. And the second time she plays, she uses proper technique. So what I want you to do is I want you to try to spot the differences in her hand and her body movement as she plays, and compare between the proper technique example and the one that's where she doesn't use proper technique. So let's play that video.
Playing of Beethoven's Fur-Elise, which is just getting all the notes. Now, what's the problem with that? Of course, it was mechanical, uneven, and also unexpressive. Well, it sounds more like a robot that's out of order that's playing it. So perhaps, how can we add some humanizing aspects to touch the hearts of our audience? Maybe we can try this. So I hope the music just I played managed to touch your heart in a very small way.
In the first example, the pianist played Fur-Elise. I noticed that she was very stiff as she played, and this made it harder for her to connect the notes. And it just felt really robotic, mechanical, and there wasn't a lot of feeling. In the second example, this is where she used proper technique, and I felt like there was a lot more movement coming from her body, and she had a lot more control, and this just helped to make the song sound more interesting and to have that richer sound that we talked about. So in this example, we were able to discover how good technique, what that sounds like, and also kind of what it looks like. And I wanted to give an example of how good technique can work in other skills. The definition of good technique just means to have your control over the instrument.
Love you, Mom.
In sports, like in basketball and soccer, the instrument is obviously the ball. And anyone, even with just a little bit of skill, can kick the ball around, or they can dribble basketball. But someone that is a successful athlete, they have to work hard and train their body to be able to control the ball and be able to ultimately make a goal or make a basket. The same thing goes for good technique. In piano, we need to train our body to help us have control over the instrument, and to also work towards reaching our ultimate goal, which is richer sound and be able just to play with more feeling. Alright, so like I said, technique, good technique helps us train our body and our mind to produce or to have more control and more power and relaxation while we play. Power and relaxation are the main purposes of good technique, and I'm going to be using those words, power and relaxation, throughout this tutorial, just to emphasize why we're doing what we're doing.
Or Dad.
So all of these exercises that I'll be teaching will accomplish the goal of helping us to relax the arm and to transfer the energy from our arm as we play into our fingertips, because the fingertips are where the weight's going to be held. So what does relaxation in our arm actually feel like? Well, we're going to do a little exercise to help you get the feel of that. So what I want you to do is you're going to drop your arm to the side basically, and you're just going to completely let it go limp. So let's try that real quick. We'll hold our arm up and then just let it go limp. You can kind of just feel how that relaxation feels. This is a feeling that you want to get used to as you play. So let's do it again, but this time we're going to breathe in and breathe out as we drop. Breathing's very important with these exercises because it helps us and reminds us to relax and to not be tense. Okay, for the next exercise, we're going to still work on relaxing our arm, but we're also going to at the same time, without playing, mimic how our fingers should be as we land on the keys. So we're going to put our arm up again, but instead of going to the side, we're actually going to pretend like that our knee or our thigh is going to be the piano, the keyboard, and when we play keys on a keyboard, you want to most of the time have a curved hand, so like pretend like there's a ball right there, because that's going to help you to transfer the power into your fingers better. So let's still think of having that same relaxation as we drop our arm, and then we're going to drop our fingers onto our thigh. So let's do that again. So we're going to drop, just go limp, but drop on there. Okay, this time let's breathe in and go limp and just relax and just drop. So I want you to notice with this exercise where you felt the impact. So if your arm was completely relaxed, if your hands were curved, your fingers were curved, then the fingers hit your thigh, and that's where the impact was. I want you to remember how that felt, because this is the same movement that you're going to use and relaxation technique you're going to use as you play keys on the keyboard. Okay, there's 4 different parts of our arm that help to play a note. And there's our fingers, our wrist, our forearm, and it hinges at the elbow, and also just all of our arm. So we're going to just do a few exercises and try to play a key just using each of these muscles individually, and then maybe combining a few. And what I want you to notice as you're doing it, if these movements are giving you power, and also are they helping you to relax. So the first movement, and a lot of people probably do this just because it's most convenient or intuitive, is just to lift at the finger, hinge right here at the finger. So you can just push a note down and do that. Okay, so in terms of power and relaxation, I feel like there's not a lot of power. The finger muscle is not very big, and so it makes it harder to have more power. And also, if you do it even just a few times, there's just a lot of tension build up. Okay, so the next movement is at the wrist. So we're going to isolate all the other muscles, or we're not going to use them, I guess you should say. So we're just going to flatten our fingers and now do the movement bending at the wrist and trying to hit the note. Okay, I don't feel like that was much more power. But it was also very uncomfortable and sloppy. I felt like that made it sloppy. So the next one is our forearm, and we're going to hinge at the elbow. So we're going to make everything else stiff, and we're just going to try to hit the key hinging at the elbow. So. Okay, that was a little more power, but it also was tiring and just didn't seem to work very well, and there was a lot of tension. Now you can just move your whole arm, and you can kind of lift up your shoulders to make this up and down movement. So we're going to make everything else stiff, so we're not going to try to use the other parts of our arm. So we can't really curl as much. I guess we could. I feel like this one gives the most power, but there's also still a lot of tension. So one movement by itself really doesn't give you that power you need, and it's hard to relax. And if you combine two movements like hinging at the wrist and also hinging at the finger like that, that's just makes your wrist really tired. Or if you want to combine your forearm and wrist, you can see if I can do it. There's a lot of tension right here. I can feel right here near your elbow. So there's not a lot of relaxation and not a lot of power. So really every part of your arm needs to be involved, and that's the first exercise that we're going to do, and this is called gravity drop. So I want to show you this video of an example of a man cracking a bullwhip. It shows how he's using his whole body to transfer energy that's like a wave of energy that goes through his arms, and at the end it cracks and it hits the target. So we can apply this same principle of energy transfer we saw in this whip video to what we're doing with our arm. So the first exercise is the gravity drop exercise, and we're going to do it a few different ways. It does take a lot of patience and a lot of concentration, just try to stick with me, and if you're not getting it, just remember, one of the main points is to relax. So if you're getting too tense, you need to go and do something else and then come back. Okay, so we're going to first hold our arm up, maybe about 12 inches above the keyboard. And we're going to play a note. And we want to, like with the whip, we want to have our eyes on the target. So our target is middle C, and we'll play with our thumb. Right now, thumb is one of our stronger fingers, so this should work out better. So as we put our eye on the target, we're like I said before, we want to use our whole arm to drop down to the key. And we're going to just do this really slow because there's two main things you want to think about, and that is trying to relax your arm as you go down, and also to keep your fingers curved, because remember, that's going to help us to hold the power in our fingers. So let's just try it and see how it goes. Okay, so we'll hold it about 12 inches above, and we're going to drop in. Notice what my arm does. Notice how it's just going to be a vertical drop. It's not going to be anything that's kind of hinged or curved. So let's see if we can do it. Okay. Okay, that time I was really tense. I could feel that. So because this is called the gravity drop, some reminders is we can go back if we're still tense. We can go back and do the exercise we did at the beginning, where we could feel the relaxation when our arms completely just relax. So maybe do that a few times to get that motion, because that's that dropping feeling we want to use as we play the key. So let's try that again, see if we can use our whole arm, but also be able to relax it at the same time as we play. Remember, curved fingers. Takes a few times. You really have to concentrate on trying to relax it. Okay, that time I felt that gravity drop. Okay, I didn't keep my hands very curved. But let's try it again. And remember, let's maybe try it at a little bit lower to the piano, closer to the piano, maybe like instead of 12 inches, I don't know, 6 inches. Okay, sit up straight. Okay, so remember there's two things before you drop you want to remember. So you want to relax your arms, so I want to make sure I get that relaxation feeling. Remember what that feels like. I'm going to breathe in maybe, and breathe out. Don't forget to breathe. And also, you want that power from your arm to go right into your fingers. So let's remind ourselves how that gravity drop worked when we curved our fingers and landed on our knee. Because the knee is going to automatically stop our fingers. So relax our hand and drop. Relax and drop. So I'm trying to focus my energy going through my arm all the way to my fingers. Okay, so now let's actually play the note. So we're going to hover a little bit lower, and if you really want to get that arm to relax, you can kind of tell if it's relaxed if you can wiggle your elbow. Because if it's tense, it's harder to wiggle your elbow and you can kind of feel your muscles stick out. So let's try that again. About 6 inches, try to think of the gravity just pulling your arm down. Like it's a magnet, maybe. So wiggle the elbows, curved fingers, and I felt like there's a lot more power and I was able to relax more. When we play the piano, though, we're not going to be hovering, playing a note and then hovering, because that would be super tiring. So that was just kind of to help us feel that gravity drop. But we need to have that same kind of relaxation feeling and drop feeling when we're just slightly touching the keys like we usually do when we play the piano. So we're going to just slightly touch the piano, make sure our fingers are curved, and if you need a reminder of relaxing, do your drop of arm or drop of your arm with your curved fingers on your knee a few times. Okay, so let's try it again. We're going to just lightly rest our fingers. Remember, the power is going to go into our thumb. Alright, so you're still going to see the arm drop. Let's wiggle our elbow, and that kind of worked. I didn't quite feel like, I felt like maybe I was, because you don't want, you want the gravity drop to be in control, not your muscles contracting to control, because that will cause tension. So let's try it again. Okay, I feel like I was able to relax more that time. So this next exercise is called the drop lift. And the goal for this is to allow our playing finger, once we've dropped our arm, to support our arm weight. So all of that energy from our arm is just going to go right into that one finger. Now that's a lot of weight for a finger to hold, so it takes a lot of practice. But after a few weeks of doing this, you're going to be able to see how you're able to automatically just transfer that weight where it needs to go. That release of energy into our finger is like the cracking of the whip in the video that we saw. So it's the end result of that whip being cracked. Okay, so for the drop lift exercise, we are going to put the weight into the finger that's being played, but at the same time, we don't want to use any unnecessary muscles. This will help with the power factor that we're looking for when we're playing a note or playing several notes. So we also need to try to relax the other fingers that aren't playing. And of course we need to relax the arm, and that's what we're working with, the gravity drop. So first let's do our gravity drop real quick. Since we're kind of pros at this, let's maybe do a little quicker. So remember, we're going to just drop the arm, feel that, make sure that elbow's kind of loose, and just, okay. So from here, and maybe I will play the pinkies so you can see it better. Let's drop the pinky. Now I didn't curve the fingers that time. Let me make sure the fingers are curved and you're relaxed. So I'm going to lightly touch the note and just. Okay, so we've dropped it. We've done the arm drop, we've done the key drop, and now we're going to do the lift, and this is where the power is just going to go into the key. Now, so what you want to do is you want to make sure the fingers are curved, and before you actually lift, to check to make sure that the powers or the weight is in this finger and your hands are relaxed, is you want to make sure the other fingers are relaxed. So if you flick it and there's resistance, then that means they're not relaxed. So this pinky is harder to relax because has such a tiny muscle. So let's try that again. It's very hard. You can kind of get that flick. So that means the other fingers are relaxing. So to lift, you're going to kind of push forward with your finger, and also relax, and also with your wrist, and lift up. So as you lift up, you want to feel the relax, and we talked at the very beginning how you want to relax in between playing notes. Now we know how to relax when we're playing the note. We want to relax when we're playing in between the notes. So we're just going to drop. And that's just going to help us feel that relaxing. You're going to have to learn how to relax very quickly in between notes. So let's try that again. We're going to go through all the steps now that we learned with the gravity drop and our arm dropping, and also the drop lift. So again, let's start. We're gonna play with I'm gonna play with my left hand now. I'm gonna use my thumb because that is a stronger thumb or stronger finger. Okay, we're going to make sure we're looking when we're dropping our arm. We want to make sure it's relaxed. Make sure our elbow is flexible and we can wiggle it. And we want to remember what that relaxing, how that felt to relax. Let's also work on some breathing. So as we go down, we can breathe in and then breathe out, and then breathe in, breathe out. Just try to remember to do that. So we're gonna first drop. Make sure our fingers are curved. I'm gonna drop. Okay. So we want to make sure all the weight's in this finger. And so, but we can do that, we can make sure the other fingers are relaxed by just kind of flicking it. And if there's resistance, which there is, then it's kind of hard because I'm trying to move from here. Let's see if I can do this side. Let me just try right here. Okay. So I'm going to push down. And I'm just going to flick it. See? That's the hardest thing, is trying to get the other fingers to relax. There's a little more flicking there. Okay, so now the lift. We're going to push forward with our finger, and our wrist is going to kind of push forward. And then we're going to just relax completely